few days late to the party, but listen, Monday was my wedding anniversary, so I didn't watch Monday Night Raw. Finally got around to it yesterday after NXT, and here's my thoughts. The opening segment literally started with Paul Heyman in the ring. Oba Femi came out and basically gave Paul Heyman the signed contract and said, "Don't worry, I'm going to kill your beast this time." So I'm not quite sure if this was actually planned or if it's just WWE telling like Brock Lesnar, like, "No, you can't walk away, so you got to come do this." I'm hoping that Oba wins, but something tells me they're gonna make Brock look really strong. I just hope they don't do it in a way that it hurts Oba because this man, listen, he's our ruler. The second match of the night saw Penta versus Je'Von Evans, and honestly, this was one of my favorite matches of the night. At one point, we saw Je'Von Evans hit the OG cutter onto Penta on the outside of the ropes, and that was pretty cool. But what was even cooler was the very end where these two were just basically hitting, trying to hit their finishers onto each other. OG cutter reversed, then Mexican Destroyer reversed, and then back and forth. And then finally, Penta got the Mexican Destroyer and was able to retain his Intercontinental Championship. At this point, I'm starting to think like the vision might be done. I knew they were going to basically invoke the Freebird rules, but it looks like Logan Paul is injured. And Paul Heyman is basically telling Austin Theory, like, you need retribution. So he went out there and he took out Joe Hendry right after this in a very quick segment. Joe Hendry was singing the same Logan Paul song and just got taken out by Theory. We then had Lyra and Bailey take on the Judgment Day, and I honestly didn't think that Lyra and Bailey were gonna win. I was kind of hoping they would win, but I was like, man, they're not gonna make Bailey lose again, are they? And anyways, at some point, Liv got ejected, and then the AAA championship got in the ring, and Bailey and Roxanne were kind of fighting over it, and Dominic was on the apron. So, anyways, Bailey let go of it. Roxanne bumped into Dominic and then rolled up. Bailey rolled her up for a 1-2-3, and Bailey and Lyra won. So I was super happy about that. LA Knight, yeah, basically came out and said that he is entering this year's King of the Ring tournament. I honestly kind of hope they make him the king this year. I really do. I'm not sure that they're going to go that route. I just kind of hope that they do. Jimmy came out after, and basically it's the same thing. I don't really need to repeat this, but it's basically just LA Knight saying, hey, you were with me with the vision, but now you're back to your bloodline stuff. And Jimmy telling him to stay out of family business. This one here is another match that I highly recommend. On this week's Raw, we had Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford. This match was so crazy. These guys gave it their all, and in the very end, it was literally just Seth Rollins falling over Montez that got him the win. After the match, Dawkins came out to the ring and got attacked by Austin Theories, so it looks like Montez is finally going to be able to work with Seth Rollins to try and take out the Vision. Rey Mysterio got a surprise win against Rusev this week on Raw. Yeah, this all started because Penta was trying to give him a championship opportunity, and then Rusev and Ethan Page were not having it. So then Rey Mysterio said, you know what, why don't you face me, Rusev, and we'll see who's number one contender. After Rey got the victory, Rusev and Ethan tried to attack him, but Dragon Lee came to the rescue. So anyways, now we're going to get the general manager of AAA taking on Penta, I think next week for the Intercontinental Championship. Right before we got to our last promo, they did basically start hinting at the relationship between Maxine and Theory backstage. Basically just Maxine acknowledging, that she's close to Theory. So we're going to have to see where they're going with this. I honestly don't know how you add her to that whole vision. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the plan is here. I don't see how it works, but we're going to have to see. Roman and Jacob had their contract signing to end the night. Honestly, it wasn't a super great promo, but it was basically just Jacob acknowledging that, the tribal chief got the whole bloodline to where they are, but soon the tribal chief will have to acknowledge Jacob. Anyways, that was Raw this week. Let me know what you thought of it if you did watch it. And as always, don't forget to follow for more wrestling news and content.